Welcome everybody to today's webinar. This is what makes email the #1 marketing tool for small businesses. And it truly is the #1 marketing tool for small businesses. I'm glad you're with us today. If you're watching us on a replay, thank you for taking the time to pull us up and take a look at this recording. We are live at the moment, and we will be asking a few questions. We'll have some live polls along the way. And so if you're watching us live, you'll be able to participate. We're watching the question box, so we'll be answering questions as they come in or toward the end of the session. So once again, welcome to everybody. This webinar is presented by the Countess Group. We are a full-service marketing consultancy. We're based in Florida, though we have clients and customers around the world. And we're full-service. Strategic marketing and communications, email marketing, social media, websites, search engine optimization, paid search, PR, video marketing, reputation management, all of those. If there's anything you need related to marketing your business or nonprofit, the odds are pretty good that we can help you. If you have not attended one of our sessions before, my name is Ken Countess. I'm an internationally recognized expert on marketing. I spent 25 years at Fortune 100 companies. You'll recognize some of the names on screen. I spent over 20 years at Motorola. I've also worked at Marriott and a company now owned by CVS. And also we continue to be an equity partner in a company called Ascend Marketing, which has 40 some odd marketing professionals. The Countess Group has 6 marketing professionals on staff as well. Some of our clients, since we formed the company back in 2001, include Marriott and Verizon, Alcatel-Lucent, the Tampa Airport, the University of Central Florida, Zebra Technologies, and scores, if not at this point hundreds, of small to medium-sized businesses and nonprofits, big companies as well. But they're companies just like yours and just like mine. Having spent so much time at big companies and having a staff of people that I could call on to help get some things done, and then going into business for ourselves, again, that started about 15 years ago. I get it. You know, I know what it's like when, particularly when you're the solopreneur, if you will, and everything that happens as a result of your business happens as a result of you. And so that often leaves precious little time to get the marketing done for your business. And so I'm glad you're with me today. You'll get an opportunity to learn some of the best tools out there that will allow you to get more done in less time and drive more revenue. I'm Constant Contact Master certified. There are just a handful of us who have that designation. Was one of only 4 people to win the Authorized Local Expert Leadership Award, and won the All-Star Award for 2014. And at least one of our clients also won the award for 2015. So we're really delighted to be a part of such a great organization. Here's my contact information, and just for attending today, you'll get a copy of the slides that you see on screen. They'll be in the form of a PDF deck. If you're watching this as a replay, you can go ahead and reach out to us and get access to the same material. But as you see, here's the contact info. Not only are we affiliated with Constant Contact, but also Microsoft, Google, and several other companies. And these are some of the social channels that we're active on. You know, email marketing is the original social media, if you will. It was the one-to-many type of tool. And now we have names you recognize, such as Facebook and LinkedIn and Twitter and Google Plus and Snapchat and Pinterest and so on. The ones you see on screen are the ones we are most active on. And if you go to that YouTube site down at the lower left-hand corner of the screen, that will give you access to the replays of the webinars that we have posted up there. I really encourage you to connect with us. Here's our Facebook company page. Facebook.com/The Countess Group. We have about 6,000 people who like our page. You can be one of them. But really, connect with us. If you're a business professional you need to be on LinkedIn. We do classes on LinkedIn as well. Here's my personal LinkedIn address, linkedin.com/in/Ken Countess. You can also locate us on the LinkedIn Pro Finder site. They have just introduced that, and we were invited to be one of the first participants in the LinkedIn Pro Finder tool. And that's something that I think you'll find very valuable. Here's a quick question for you. How did you learn about this webinar? Was it via email or social media? Was it word of mouth or a combination of the above? Go ahead and click one of those 4 buttons, and after you've done that, click Submit. Okay, a pretty interesting result. Email or a combination of at least 1 or 2 of the above. Not too terribly surprising since this is an email marketing webinar. I'm not too surprised to find that many people found out about it via email. Here's what we're going to talk about over the next 45 minutes or so. What I'm going to do is talk about some things about email marketing, some things that may surprise you. There are things out there that you may or may not be aware of, and email really does continue to evolve. We'll talk about the 10 success factors. How can you be successful using email marketing? And then we'll talk about some of the next steps. You know, at its core, marketing, real marketing, is about a physical, measurable response. Today, we're very familiar with many of these, Facebook and Google Plus and LinkedIn and Pinterest and Twitter and Instagram and many of the others. So you might begin to think, well, gee, what does that really mean for email? Does it mean that email is dead? Well, actually, quite the contrary. There was a recent article in Forbes magazine. I'll show you a snippet from there in just a moment or two. The other thing is that there was a survey done that appeared in Entrepreneur.com that says that email is 40 times more effective than Facebook and Twitter. In fact, in that Forbes article, it said that customer acquisition via email has more than quadrupled in the last 4 years. More than quadrupled. And that's with Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and the like all out there. In fact, another study said that 77% of consumers prefer to be marketed to via email marketing. That's a staggering number. That says that 3/4 of us would much rather hear from marketers via email. And as testimony to that, and as a testament to that, these are just some of the companies that are responsible for email's big renaissance. It's small businesses like yours and mine that have caught the attention of these bigger merchants. And what those merchants are finding is that they are generating more revenue, more brand awareness using email marketing than any other form of marketing that they can do. In fact, there's a 44-to-1 return on email marketing. That is a statistic that comes from the Direct Marketing Association, who will also tell you that postcards, for example, direct mail, typically only returns 2-to-1. In a few moments, I'll highlight for you one of our clients who's getting a 400-to-1 return on their email campaign. And you'll be able to learn why too. Another quick poll for you, just so I can get a feel for who's with us today. Give me a sense, is your organization business to business? Are you business to consumer? Or are you nonprofit? And by the way, by nonprofit, I don't mean you're in business not making money yet. So go ahead and click one of those buttons. We're waiting for a few more to vote, and then we'll close the poll. Okay, looks like we have everybody. Thank you for participating, and we have a pretty even split here between B2B and B2C, and we have a good number of nonprofits out there as well. So thank you all for letting me know. This is very, very helpful in order for me to provide you with a great webinar that caters to your specific requirements. One other quick question before we move forward, and that is, are you currently using email marketing for your business or a nonprofit? Okay, terrific. Well, for those who said yes, you'll certainly learn some new tips and tricks, because best practices have changed very dramatically over the last 6 months to a year. And for those who are not yet using email marketing, this may be we may provide some eye-opening information for you. There's a question that's come in that says you may cover this later, so my next question is there an equivalent to direct mail for an email campaign on how to obtain email addresses? Well, we'll talk a little bit about that. There really is no equivalent to email marketing. It is certainly, if you're working on a budget, there's nothing that compares to email marketing, and even if you have a big budget, the big organizations are finding this to be true, that email marketing is the most effective digital marketing channel for customer retention in the United States. And that's data that was provided by HubSpot, one of the leading companies in digital marketing. And here's something else. 44% of email recipients made at least one purchase last year based on a promotional email. Think about your own behavior. You probably get emails from different kinds of organizations promoting this or that. Maybe it's a special sale. Maybe you're a member of a loyalty program from, let's say, Starbucks or your favorite hotel company, or some other organization that you do business with, or if you're a nonprofit, maybe it's an email that asks you to participate in an upcoming event. We tend to, by a very wide margin, prefer to do business with organizations via promotional email over other forms of marketing. And as I mentioned a few moments ago, email marketing has an ROI, return on investment, of 44 to 1. And if you're not familiar with this terminology, basically what it means is that for every dollar you spend using email, you can expect 44 back. So let's say, for example, that you spend $100, you can expect 44 times that, or 4,400 back each time. That's pretty significant. I'm sure that you'll agree. So let's get into the meat here. Let's talk about the situation today. The essence is that we are pressed for time. I mean, we are really pressed for time. The average attention span of a human is 7 seconds. The average amount of time someone spends on an email is 15 seconds. That's it. We are exposed to thousands of messages every single day. As I mentioned just a moment ago, the average attention span of a human 3 years ago was 8 seconds. That's now dropped to 7 seconds. And here's how else things have changed. It wasn't very long ago that we would send emails out that look like those that you see on screen. They tended to be pretty good-looking emails. They were very well formatted. They had columns and they had lots of images, and that was back in a time where people spent a lot of time sitting in front of a desktop looking at their emails. That has changed, so much so that now 91% of us are looking at our email on a smartphone. 91% of consumers check their email at least once a day on a smartphone. That just by a little bit outshines texting, but if you look at search and social and news and games and so on, that makes email the #1 app on a smartphone or a tablet. So with that as a backdrop, what is it that we need to do in order to cut through the clutter? How do we make ourselves memorable? What are the tricks of the trade that you need to know about in order to get your message across quickly. So let's get into email marketing, and let's also get into the 10 success factors, if you will, on how to make your email campaigns work really well. Quick question for you right now is, tell me, how large is your email contact database? Okay. For those of you that are using email marketing, is it under 500? Is it up to 2,500 email addresses? Are you somewhere between 2,500 and 10,000, or is your email campaign list over 10,000 email addresses? Go ahead and click one of those buttons for me and hit submit. Okay, so regardless of where you are on this spectrum, success factor number one is you need to be recognizable. So what exactly does that mean? Well, the first thing that people look at is, who is sending me this email? This is really all about winning the battle of priorities. So you have to understand the way that you will be most recognizable, and that is being recognizable across the spectrum of places that you market your business or your nonprofit, whether that's on email or LinkedIn or Twitter or Facebook. What you really need to do is determine what the most effective name is, so that when someone sees that name in their inbox, they do it, they open up your email. It turns out that who the message or offer is from is really important. Now think about how you sort your email, or if you're on Facebook, think about the news feed. Typically when you open up your email, and think about this morning, you start at the top of the list and you go down to see who it's from. Who the email or social media post came from really does turn out to be the most important part of winning the battle of priorities. We open email based on who. So it's really important for you to be recognizable and to be recognized across all of the channels you're using. If you send your emails using your name, but your Facebook page shows up in people's news feeds as your business, people may not make that connection. Number two, your subject line is really important. 68% of us open up an email based on who it's from. About 38% do it based on the subject line. So think about the email that you received from me just before this webinar started. Here's one, a very typical email that you might get from me if you were registered for an event. This one is, reminder, your webinar starts in less than 1 hour. There's a real call to action here, isn't there? Because people give us 2 seconds when an email shows up in the inbox. So you've got to grab their attention in the first 2 words so that they open it today. We call it the 2-2-2 principle. And so winning this battle of priorities may look something like this. Can you imagine getting an email that simply said monthly newsletter? Nobody's going to open that when they're pressed for time. However, if instead that title, the subject line, said 3 easy ways to increase sales, you're much more likely to get the attention of your reader. By the same token, latest news is not going to get much attraction, but especially now, here we are in April, where in the United States, it's tax time coming up really soon. So alert, tax laws change might very well get your attention. Or children's classes, not too engaging compared to still time. Openings are available for children's classes. So I'm sure you get the idea. You really need to have something that's action-oriented to get somebody's attention. Also, including the word video in the subject line may increase your open rates by as much as 20%, but really it's not all about opens. Opens do not have the same value as clicks. And what do I mean by that? Nobody ever made money just by having someone open up an email. But if someone clicks on something inside that email, then you have their attention, You know that they're somewhat engaged. So another example, here's an email that you might have received from me that said, reminder, your webinar starts in less than an hour. That might get them to open the email. And then once they open it, there's a very bold link to click on. Just click this link. And so, for example, I will know when I go back and review the results from the email campaign that went out over the last couple of hours, I'll know who actually clicked on a link to join the webinar. And that's money in the bank. Success factor number 3 is you really need to keep things short and sweet. What do I mean by that? Well, you know, so often we are tempted to write a lot. We think that our readers are going to read everything that we have to say. But the simple reality, unfortunately, is that less is more. So what that is a vote for keeping your emails very, very focused. When you remember that up to 91% of people look at an email on their smartphone or tablet, there's very precious little real estate there. And most of the time, people don't scroll to the bottom of an email. In fact, Google did a study not very long ago that said 78% of us don't scroll to the bottom of an email. So that's good news and bad news. The good news is that if we know that people don't read a lot, that means that we don't have to write a lot. And if you came to one of our workshops within the last few months, one of the things you were taught is how to create an email that you could send out in 30 minutes or less each time. Again, with people not spending a whole lot of time viewing an email, you don't need to spend a lot of time writing one. So what you're looking at here is a view on the shift to mobile. And what you see here is that 3 out of the 4 emails that were sent out on this one date, actually, had most people looking at the email on a small screen. So because of that, we keep the emails really, really short. It keeps the brand out in front of us so that we're able to get the attention and the attraction that we're looking for. So here's an email that is sent out about every other week by one of our clients. This is Steve Vaughn, Panoramic Photography. And Steve sends out an email that looks very, very similar to this every other week, with a picture at the top, a short headline, 1 paragraph, and then contact information. And that's it. Steve sends his email out every other week. How about you? How often are you sending out an email? If you're using email marketing, is it once a week, twice a month, once a month? Or do you do it less frequently than once a month, or more frequently than even once a week? Okay. I will give you 5 more seconds. If you're using email marketing, go ahead and select one of those 5 buttons and then hit submit. Okay. And so here's what you said. Once a month and less frequently than once a month. Nobody is sending it out once a week, twice a month, or more frequently than once a week. And generally speaking, that's good. Once a month is, on average, what most organizations are doing. If you're sending out an email less frequently than once a month, then you may be risking a situation where your brand is not out in front of your audience as frequently as it probably should be. So I would encourage you, for most organizations, to amp up, step up the amount of times that you send out an email. Generally speaking, once a month is minimum. That's the way you keep your brand out there. Success factor number 4 is be informative. But many people have this challenge of, what do I write about? Well, one of the things you write about is your expertise. You've got access to information that your audience doesn't have. Whether you are in recruiting, whether you are in the tax law business, maybe you're a nonprofit, you have access to information that your audience doesn't have. Go ahead and use the question box. Go ahead and open up that control panel. It's probably hidden from you if you haven't used the control panel in the last few minutes. Let me know what type of organization you are in. Are you in retail? Are you in real estate? Are you in manufacturing? Are you a consultant? Let me know what kind of an organization you're with, because that will give you some really great insight on how you might think about using your email campaigns. So we see real estate and telecom and employment agency, directory listings, home modification, screen printing. Those are some of the answers that have come in, and that's really great. So let's talk about some of those. You know, it may be that you've got some information that you can pass along to your readers to help them get a really good sense of what they need to be doing in order to help them build their business. You have access to information they don't have, and if you're stuck for things to write about, original isn't required. Just be interesting and relevant. You can also use some marketing automation to grab content off the web. As long as you give attribution to the author, you don't have to write it all. If you need help with some of this, we can help you for sure. Just reach out to us after the webinar, and we'll give you some ideas, and we can actually help you come up with content that you can use in your email campaigns. We're happy to help you out with that. So, you know, what's success factor number 5? Well, it is having a very clear call to action. When you look at a couple of these emails, you might look at them and say, well, what is it that they really want me to do? For example, the image on the lower right-hand corner of the screen, they are marketing an event. The unfortunate thing is that the call to action, what they're really trying to do in this email is sell tickets. You can't find it on the screen. In the upper left-hand corner, you see an image of a few people in what appears to be an office. There's actually a video there that they would want someone to click, and the video icon, it really isn't that apparent. The call to action really is key. So take another look at this image. I presented it earlier, where the call to action is pretty clear. The other thing that you want to do is make all of your images clickable, but use images wisely. We have all gotten to a point where we are very accustomed to seeing lots of images on our internet service. Maybe we're on Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or Pinterest or Instagram, and we see images. We've been conditioned to clicking on images these days. So your images in your email should all be obvious and clickable. But check this out. 67% of us don't have images activated on our email client. Email clients are things like Outlook, Gmail, maybe your email on your iPhone or Android. So think about this in a way that looks like this. Take a look at this image coming up on the screen now. This is an email that was sent out, a demonstration email, and you see that little red X that the red arrow is pointing to, and that's what you see if you don't have images activated within an email. So what's the problem here? Well, images are a great way to convey a message, tell a story, create a connection. But if you don't carefully consider how you're going to use images, you may end up with some unintended consequences. At best, maybe, you know, someone not opening your email, but at worst, they may actually unsubscribe from your list, and you won't be able to communicate with them at all. And here are some common challenges. I mean, notice the red X. Some mobile email clients won't display images. So what you really need to do there is use something called alt text or alternate text that appears if the image doesn't, to let people know that there's an image there. You know, in this example, there really is a great picture, but you don't know what it is. So we have to ask the reader to activate images. Number 7, don't overdo things. You have to remember that sending an email monthly tends to be most common, but this is really all about when your readers are likely to take the action that you want them to take. So when to send is something that we've got some data to share with you. This is data that was most recently accumulated and analyzed by Constant Contact. They looked at 2 billion emails. And here's some of the information they found was that when it comes to restaurants, the best day and time to send an email is Monday morning at 7. If you're a religious organization, Thursday at noon. If you're a consultant, Tuesdays at 6 in the morning tends to work best. So you can go to blogs.constantcontact.com and you'll get access to over 30 different industries to see what Constant Contact has found is the best time and day to send your email. But truly, it's all about the click. And that's success factor number 9. I don't want you to be romanced by a big open rate. It's not about the open rate. It really is about actions. It's about getting the cash register to ring. As I alluded to not very long ago, people only spend 15 seconds on an email. That's it. 15 seconds. If you didn't get them engaged in that very short amount of time, they're gone. So what do you do? What's best practice? Don't give them too many choices. Your audience increasingly is looking at your email on a small screen. And you want to make your images clickable and also have those text labels. On this slide, what you see is that best practice, the way to get more people engaged with your email is to have as few links in the email as possible. What you're looking at on this slide is that for emails that have just one thing to click on, they get the highest engagement rate, people actually taking action. With 2 links in your email, that engagement rate drops in half. With 3, it drops in half again, and so on. So the fewer links you have, the more clicks you'll get. So it's really about how do we generate more cash for our business, for our nonprofit, if we're taking donations, if we're selling products and services, it's really about the cash. And how do you get there is success factor number 10. It's really about the data. I'm going to encourage you to always, always review your results. This is a screenshot of the Constant Contact analytics, and you'll see the results here from a variety of campaigns. Here's a close-up. This is an email that we sent out to a very targeted list, and we had about 26% opens. Well, opens are good, but where the money really lies is in the clicks. When you have people clicking on content inside your email, that's a way for you to really get a great understanding of not only how effective your campaign has been because you got people engaged, but it also gives you an opportunity to reach out to those who may have clicked on a specific link inside your email. In this example, there were 88 unique clicks on one link. And for those who did not reply to the email or didn't click through or give us a call, that's an opportunity where name by name you can contact each one of those people who clicked on the email and reach out to them and see how you might be able to help them. It's a way for you to deepen a relationship that already exists. They've already opted in to be on your email list. And this is a screenshot of the type of graphics you can take a look at and get a good feel for how your email has stacked up, not only against prior emails that you've sent out, but also against others in your industry. And what this screenshot is showing you is I move the cursor over to the screen, and this dotted blue line going across the screen, that's the average number of opens for a consultant. In this case, this is our direct results. And as you could see, this compares against this green line going across the screen, and we are way above the open rates of other consultants. This dotted red line going across the bottom of the screen, that's the average number of clicks in an email for someone as a consultant. And as you can see here, with only one exception, our click-throughs are way above those of others in our industry. So I'd encourage you to reach out to us if you need some assistance in figuring out how to get more out of your campaign. So what are your next steps? Well, you really can do this. The key is to keep it simple. Don't overcomplicate your life by making emails that are really long and people have to think too much about to take action, because they're only spending 15 seconds with your email. So as I mentioned prior to this, email marketing has a return on investment on average, this is on average, of $44 for every dollar you spend. And here's an example of one of our clients who attended one of our sessions about 3 years ago now, who they're in the promotional specialties business, and within a 6-month period, they were able to jump their sales 6-fold. They went from a $50,000 a year business, they added $250,000 in sales in just 6 months. So in the first year that they started using email marketing, and they didn't use any other marketing beside this, they went from $50,000 to $300,000 the next year. And then the following year, in 2015, they're now at over $500,000 in revenue a year. And the only thing they use is email marketing. So if you're not using email marketing, I'd encourage you to start today. If you are using email marketing, well, let's get yourself going. For those who are not yet using email marketing, you may be wondering about, well, how much does this really cost? And a basic email campaign with contact management tools, social sharing tools, that starts at $20 a month, and there are no contracts at all. And we provide free help to get you started. So, you have to ask yourself, would you invest $20 a month to grow your business if you knew that you could get a 44-to-1 return on your investment? I think the answer probably is that you would definitely do that. For less than the cost of going out to dinner once, you could send email out all month long for 20 bucks. So you can do it yourself or have it done for you. My encouragement to you would be to start today. Once again, it's month to month. There are no contracts involved. There's award-winning customer support. I've just put in the chat box a link that you can click on. If you're not using Constant Contact yet, you can go to trythetoolkit.com. There's no risk. There's a money-back guarantee once you choose to go to a paid account, and you can wait 60 days to do that if you choose. So here are a couple of exclusive offers for those of you attending live today. And these truly are exclusive to today's participants. If you're watching on a webinar, reach out to us when you have time, and we'll let you know what we might be able to do for you. But for those who are joining us today, if you're not yet using email marketing, you could go to this website, bit.ly/ConstantContactByNow. And we will provide you, we'll create a free email template that matches the look of your website. That's a $199 value. So it's bit.ly/ConstantContactByNow. If you're not ready, that's fine too. Just try it and try the 60-day free trial. Once again, that's at www www.trythetoolkit.com. I do have another offer for you here in just a moment, but I do want to give you an opportunity to write this down. Or you can text us. Text my name, Ken, to 99000, and then you can just set up the account on your own. You could set it up within minutes and get yourself started. And once again, we provide free help. We will do a screen share for you and to show you step-by-step how to get your first email out the door. Constant Contact's a really great tool. I'm familiar with all the platforms out there. Constant Contact, to me, far and away is the best, certainly at this price point, because you can create newsletters and announcements. You can get feedback from your audience, do surveys, do offers and promotions. You could do event registration. When you signed up for this event, you are actually using Constant Contact's EventSpot event registration platform. That's how I knew who was coming. If you're using Constant Contact already today, we have a VIP club. We have over 1,900 members in it. It's free to join. There are no membership fees. It gives you up to $2,000 in free services. They include a complimentary review of your newsletter each month. You can just send an email to me to get details. We also have just launched, I mean truly just launched, our VIP Plus Club. That only has 90 members in it, so you'd be one of a pretty elite group. In addition to the VIP benefits that I mentioned, you'll also get a complimentary monthly phone consultation if desired, and we'll provide an even higher level of personal service. So once again, just send an email to me at that address to get started. And that's free. And people ask, well, why do you do something like that free? Well, if we give you a great service, then the best kind of reference is word-of-mouth referral. And we would be excited and honored if you joined the VIP club, or even if you didn't, to have you refer us on to other customers of yours or clients. So my question then is, are you interested in just getting more information about the VIP club? If the answer is yes, we'll send an email to you, and all you need to do is fill it out and return it to us. It'll take you about a minute to do, and then we will arrange to get you included in the VIP club. And if not, that's certainly okay. We certainly respect that. We're not going to ask you multiple times whether you'd like to join or not. And if you're watching on a replay, just go ahead and send your email to us at that email address, kc@thecountessgroup.com. We'll wait another couple of moments and allow everyone a chance to click either yes or no, and then we'll wrap up this webinar. Okay, so there you have the information about our VIP Plus program. If you got some value out of attending this webinar, or if you would like to join us for other events that we have coming up, we have live events all the time, and whether they're webinar online or whether they are on site, you can find out about our next classes and webinars by going to this URL, bit.ly/marketingclasses, and there you'll see a calendar which has all of the events that we have coming up, not only this month but out into the future as well. All you would need to do is click the next button in the upper left-hand corner of the screen, and that will show you what else we have coming up that's open to the public. We do lots of private sessions too. If you are interested, if you need a speaker for an event, you can reach out to us, and we'd be happy to discuss with you how we might be able to help you get more visibility personally and or for your organization. We'll come in and do a presentation for you, oftentimes free of charge. So just reach out to us using the contact information you see below. If you need other kinds of marketing help, feel free to reach out to us. at our website, via email, via phone, whatever way is most convenient for you. So we do have time to handle questions. We've got plenty of time built in. So if you've got any questions you'd like to ask, let's go ahead and use the question box. And then if you need some additional help, you can reach out to us by giving us a call. If you're ready to get started with a trial account for Constant Contact, you can go to the URL on the screen, which is www.trythetoolkit.com. So we'll stand by now for questions. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. And we'll take a look at the question box and answer your questions. If you need to go soon, have a great day, and we'll look forward to having you attend one of our upcoming events. We're going to stop the recording now, and we'll go ahead and take a look at the questions that have come in, and go ahead and take a few moments if you have some questions or comments, and go ahead and enter them, and we'll address them, each one of them. Thank you very much for your kind comments. Glad that you attended, and have a great day,